Hey lovely friends, I thought we would have a cup of tea and a little chat about what's happening at the moment with me and with things that might be able to help you when you're navigating the health system. So first thing I want to say is cannot believe the amount of views that I had on the first video, which is right there in case you wanted to watch it. I'm really grateful for everybody who watched and liked, and thank you so much and commented, because it's yeah, I think it's scary doing stuff like this, and it is really scary being on this journey, and the uncertainty is huge. And I think just having that support out there, knowing that people are interested and ready to watch, has been really positive for me as well. And hopefully it spreads some positivity to you. So this week I am having some fun with a heart monitor. Ta-da! So I'm getting my heart monitor for 7 days because it's to do with POTS. And, you know, it's going to be 7 days of them monitoring what my heart does, and we'll find out what's happening. On top of that, I've had to have another round of bloods. So here's a top tip for you. If you are having trouble getting your bloods done because of the Synnovis piracy Russian cyber attack, call your doctor, ask them to mark your bloods as important or urgent, and then you can get them done. Some services like mine don't seem to have another pathology service to go to, so either you wait for weeks, it's been like 2 months now, or you just have to get your doctor to mark them as important. And for me, it was quite important to get them done. The other thing I will say is make sure that all the bloods requested are being done. For me, the cortisol the cortisol in my blood wasn't going to be tested. So I definitely think that in that situation, you need to start thinking outside of the box. So you can either wait until this whole thing is sorted, which who knows, it's been 2 months, or what I did was I went, okay, well, it's one thing and there's a bunch of blood testing pathology services out there. How much is it going to cost just to get cortisol? And it was 30 quid for a pinprick test that I get sent in the mail. And I was like, wow, that is so much easier than I thought. So I'm getting that one done privately, and then the rest of it done through the NHS. Another top tip about the NHS that I came across today is if you are a dual citizen, and again, some of you might not be, but if you are lucky enough to be a dual citizen like I am, I started looking up some of the tests I might need to do for POTS. And some of these tests are super expensive, like the tilt table and all of these other things, and you can't get some of them on the NHS. Look them up in your home country, because I looked them up in Australia, and as opposed to £1,200, it was $300 on Medicare. So I was like, okay, well, there is a possibility of going back home and getting these tests done just as well, and then coming back with the results. So there is that as well. And always ask about specialist timelines. I was hit this week by the fact that I found out that the specialist that I need to see, whose waiting list I'm not even on yet, because you have to do all the tests and get the results before they let you on the waiting list. But the waiting list then is over 12 months long. So yeah, I don't think I want to hang around just waiting for 12 months for this doctor to come available. So I'm looking into my options as to, you know, do I go privately with all the tests already done, or what are the other options? Are there other options I can go back to Australia for? So I think definitely it's hard to think of these things outside of the box. So sometimes it's really good just to discuss with family and friends who know you really well. And good family came up with a whole bunch of solutions to some of the problems that I've been facing and just trying to wrap my head around. It is hard to manage all the appointments and the various medications that you need to do, because there are so many of them and so many things that you as a long COVID patient want to try. So my next top tip will be to schedule yourself. So just as you would schedule a marketing campaign or a project or company, whatever you do for the next 6 months, schedule your health just the same. So I will take a break from 2 seconds and show you what I've created. So I got the idea from a friend who was telling me all about how her company is scheduling their next 6 months. And I was like, oh, I wish I could do that with my company. And then I thought, well, actually, I should probably do that with my health, because trying to keep track of everything, all the various medications and things that I'm, doing could be quite useful. So I've created this little health plan. If you can see it, it might be backwards, which would be bad. Just for me to keep track weekly of what I'm doing. It's not a Google Calendar. I still have all the appointments in the Google Cal, but this gives me an overview sense of how I'm progressing towards doing different things, from HRT to then starting LDN, how long that will take, to then looking at the next thing, when the appointment with a specialist is due, all of these things, because I think actually it is almost a full-time job trying to manage your various appointments, all the research that you need to do for long COVID. There's a lot going on. So I definitely advocate for you guys to create some sort of health plan for yourself, so that over the next 6 months, now that 5 months now that we're in mid-July, where you're aiming towards by the end of this year. So which brings me to the next point. I had some very good and very sad news at the same time. I got accepted onto a really exciting program called the London Game Changer, and if you don't know, I'm a producer by trade. I produce feature films, video games, commercials, and of course all that's had to stop. I got invited onto this amazing 6-month program, which includes mentors and support and training and overseas trips fully paid for. But what is my capability here? And I actually made the decision to not go forward. And I'm not gonna lie, it was so tough to make that decision, to take a step back and just say to myself, honestly, how would I physically be able to go to a conference when I can barely sit up for 3 hours? How will I be able to manage doing all-day conferences, in-person meetings, actually pitching my project and giving myself the best chance and the best foot forward without just constantly pressuring and pushing myself? Even if it's online, I'll just feel like everything's mounting up and I have to check it. And because of all of that and that really big decision, I had a lovely chat with one of the coordinators of the program, and they agreed with me that this is not the right time to be doing it. And that was hard. However, it made me more determined to say, okay, well, I don't know how long my long COVID is going to go on for. However, I do know that it could go on for next year. And I do know that the more I push it, the worse my headaches get. I know that if I continue to push it for the next 6 months, I'm going to have a pretty difficult and horrible 6 months. I'll feel like I'm not good enough all the time because I don't have capacity, but I'm trying to make up for it constantly. And I'm very, 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 very sure that by 2025, I will feel the same, if not worse. However, taking a step back, the other alternative is if I completely stop all work, and I appreciate not everyone has this capacity, but I am lucky enough to be able to have a partner and savings. But if I completely stop everything, anything that induces pain or pushing or stresses, and just stop it completely for the next 5-6 months, there is a very slim chance that I might be better for 2025, even just a slight bit better. So you have two options here, you know, continue pushing and knowing that things won't get any better, or stop completely and have a glimmer of hope. And so that's what I've decided, is to try and stop everything completely, which, if you know me, this is an incredibly difficult decision, to just tell people I'm unavailable for the next, till the end of the year. However, I urge you to consider your options, and or any loved ones you know who are going through a chronic illness as well, and to consider what they understand about themselves and their body and their situation, and have a think about it. You know, is there a glimmer of hope if you stop everything? If you just need this sign to say stop everything, there is a glimmer of hope that maybe something will change for early next year. Have a think about it and see what you come up with for yourself. I can't speak for anybody else but myself. So that's what I'm doing. I'm focusing full-time on my health and trying to get all sorts of things in place. And yeah, so that's my little update for this week. And I'm sending you guys lots and lots of love, lots and lots of healing. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. Oh, and by the way, if you would like an actual printout version of what I've done, I will put one together and link it below, so that all you need to do is print it off and fill it in with your health appointments and your 6-month health plan. So see below. Thank you.